Okay, store 532, customer Dwyer. This is a remodel of a home built in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So there is no RRP lead remediation rule that have to follow here. These are semi-custom cabinets. They are built in a shop. Local cabinet company built them. They are built to size, so they are not 3-inch incremental standards. So some of the measurements you'll see on the drawing here will actually have some changes in those incremental standards. One of the things that's very noteworthy here is there is a doorway here, as you can see, and there is a wall return right here. Now in your drawing, there's a short return wall, which means that your tightness on where your refrigerator space is could actually be a little different. In this particular house, there is a huge doorway here and a return of about 52 inches. Over here on this side, there is a door here that opens this way. You can see the hinges. It opens back this way. So that 6-inch margin that I'm showing in the design, you definitely want to leave at least that because you need your door to come past 90 to be able to carry stuff in and out of that. Note to the customer on this one, you probably want to put a floor mounted door catch. If you look at the back of the door now, you can already see where it's dented, where it's hit the edges of the cabinets. As it opens and closes. So the hinge restrictors, the little square things, they break a lot of times. The ones that you put on the floor as a commercial doorstop, perfect for opening and closing your door. Now, a couple other things to note while we're still in the opening part of this video is the refrigerator here is only 33 inches wide. The hole opening that's here is 68 inches tall, 69. So they had to go and purposely find, and it's only 36 wide, exactly 36 wide. So they had to go and purposely find a 33 by 65 or 66 tall refrigerator, which is not normal. This guy here is a small guy compared to what new refrigerators are. So I am telling you that we need to design with the avocation of having a bigger opening for the refrigerator in the future. Decide to put a different refrigerator here, probably, then you will absolutely have the right hole opening for that. If you're going to keep this refrigerator, that's no problem, but it is really tight even at this point with the 33 space for the door to open with this handle. So it will hit and you will not be able to get your freezer section out of there. So having at least a 38 to 39 inch minimum space here for the refrigerator to be able to put a larger refrigerator, 72 inches tall with a horizontal filler here, a 3-inch or 4-inch horizontal filler, 42. That is definitely something we're going to want to have for this refrigerator opening. Talk about the other appliance here, which is the stove. At this point, there is 48 inches. Let's go ahead and start looking at the drawings. Here's our drawing from above. You can hit the space bar if you need to slow down and look at it. I'll go over these notes here in just a second. But if you look at the refrigerator or the stove measurement here, I actually have a note. The plug is in the way of the stove for it to go all the way to the wall. The plug is literally right here in the corner of the stove. I pulled the stove out so you could see. If I look back here, the plug is right up against the side of this adjacent cabinet. Well, this cabinet section that's here is about 48, double check myself, 48 1/4 inches of cabinet. So if we slid this cabinet over like you have to 36, that would help with that plug problem. But right now where it sits, this will not go back against the wall. If we slide over that way a foot, that receptacle, all it does is move to this side of the box. So it is fine as far as that happening, but I would definitely tell you that we need to move at least 4 inches, 6 inches, minimum 42 to the right for this stove to be able to go all the way against the wall. Right now, when you push the stove back, it's off the wall at least 4 inches, which is not very pretty as far as the layout of the cabinets. Same thing here. Let's look at the dishwasher in the sink area. Underneath the sink, of course, we've had some leaks in the past and some of that stuff. That's one of the reasons we're replacing the cabinets, I'm sure. But these valves that are here are definitely the old valves. They are not standards as far as quarter turns. So there is one that looks like it's been replaced. Maybe that was the reason they had a leak. But basically, this is CPVC. Note to installer, turn the water off to this house before we start working with this if we're going to do the tear out. Make sure you bring caps with you for the 3/8 valves. and do not turn the water back on until we're completely finished with the installation. CPVC gets brittle as it gets older. If you look, it actually has the yellow or the orange specific glue to it, so that's actually a little better. But as far as that goes, I don't see any evidence of primer. The PVC has primer on it, but not the other pieces do not. So we could have a problem here with breaking a pipe while we're tearing the stuff out. We do not want the house to be under pressure when we tear this stuff apart. Again, you can see a collar has already been put on the PVC there, the blue, and that collar will need to be cut when we do the tear out to where we can get the new cabinets over it with the least amount of problems. You can also see that they've put a coupling on the bottom of that one for the CPVC. As far as that goes, if the customer is okay with us putting just regular caps, the sharp bite caps or something on these, then that would be better. It'd be better actually if we could go under the floor and actually put new PEX pipes so we wouldn't have a flood in the future if something happens to the CPVC. Dishwasher, standard dishwasher, 24, no big deal. Do notice on your window, I looked on your drawing, you have a 96 ceiling height here. Your window is all the way to the top. In fact, the window is at least a foot down from the ceiling, about 13 inches usually, and it is under the dustboard, and there is a valance with a light. I bet if we look up on top, there's probably a wire coming out of the wall. I can't see it from down here, but you probably could. And so we need to make sure we talk about that electrical, what we're going to do about that light fixture, and if we want a valance and a dustboard. If we do want a valance and dustboard, the picture, make sure you pull your window down and put that valance and dustboard up here. Now, normally we order enough trim to go from one side of this window to the other. If you're going to have the cabinets here and the cabinets here, we will actually bridge that with a piece of molding to where the two pieces look, tied together visually with that. In your design, in 2020, you're showing a 3-inch offset, but you're also showing molding stacked above that height. So double check your trim to see whether or not that's going to be a stack molding or what that trim is. I don't have a list of what that trim is. So make sure we're not at 6 inches or so for our molding stack, and we only have 3 inches left to actually do that. So a couple things on this drawing. Let's go ahead and hold it over here so you can hit the space bar if you need to. Now, a couple things on this drawing. There's 33 inches of existing cabinet to the left of the window. There's 33.5 to the window. So literally, there's only about a 1/2 inch gap on either side as a reveal on both sides, the margins. So if I look at that, 33.5 to the window, 36.5 is the window width, trim to trim, 33.1/8 is the window trim to the door trim. 103 1/8 is to the door trim. So if I go from this corner over to that door trim, it's 103 1/8. Now in your design, you're about 4 inches back on the bottom cabinets from the door trim, but on the upper cabinets, you're 7 inches back from the door trim. So these two are 3 inches difference in the uppers and lowers. The existing cabinet that's there now is a 26-inch cabinet. So if we are looking at sizing, probably a 27 and putting a small filler here in a 3-inch panel is what we're going to need to do to make sure these things line up right and have at least the cabinets that they had before. If this is going to be a country sink, the drain goes through the floor like you see. So if this is going to be a country farm sink or something, verify your sink. Make sure this doesn't need to be the deep sink base. Make sure this is the right apron width that will fit this, and it's no wider than 33 inches. This is a 36. The sink base cannot be any wider than 33. These are the old valves, like I said, 1/2 inch CPVC, 1/2 inch PV, or 1.5 inch PVC drain, and leave a 6-inch margin to the door trim or so for the end of that length, okay? Take a look here on the stove side. Like I was telling you before, we have 23 inches of existing cabinet to the left of the stove. We have outlets and on the walls of 27.5 inches. This is this outlet here. And like I told you before, the 42-inch cabinet length, 27.5 is where that outlet is to the corner. And if you look right here, 95 inches outlet that's up high. That is the one to the left of the stove. 95 inches from that outlet to the center over to that corner is where that outlet is. Again, 3 inches of space here for the extra room on the refrigerator would not get in the way of that outlet. Take a look here. Recommend a 38-inch plus refrigerator opening. The 36-inch refrigerator opening is the existing opening. The plug is in the way of the back of the wall where the actual refrigerator or the stove slides back. So make sure we address that with the customer. Existing refrigerator is 33 by 70 by, I'm sorry, not 70. It's 33 by 66 right now. It needs to be 33 by 70 by 34. Make sure that we leave at least a 72-inch space in height with a horizontal filler that goes on the top of that. All right, so let's take a look also at the island. On your island, the existing island here now is a 48 by 24 island with a plug in the end of the panel. Take a look. There's a plug there now. So if I'm looking at this in the room, the island runs this way toward the doorway, okay? The new layout, they're wanting to turn the island and come in this direction, along the same direction as the sink wall, okay? That's no problem. This wire right here, though, is probably going to have to go on the inside facing the stove, and that's what I've indicated here. Your plug add-on will probably be there at the end. Now, these are wall cabinets, and if this is Shenandoah, I'm not sure with the nomenclature, it looks like it might be. If this is Shenandoah cabinets, then these face frames are the wrong size. This is a 30 1/8. That's a 30 1/2 inch face frame. If these are craft-made cabinets, let me see if I see a, is that WPL? Can't tell, or diamond. We just need to make sure that if this is a craft made, these are 30s, those still work. But the amount of labor and to build this box for the bottoms of these cabinets are available as base full height doors in the base cabinet catalog section. And the reduced depth charge to make them 12 instead of 24, or sometimes they even come 12, is going to be less money than the labor build out for this base, as well as the 2x4s you'd have to buy. So consider these cabinets, instead of wall cabinets, consider them being full height door cabinets, reduced depth to 12, and then also wide rail kitchen, WRK, where they have no toe kick under them, and wrap this with OGPM8. Put 3 sides, down this side, across this side, and across this side. The working side would have a toe kick, but make this a wide rail kitchen bottom rail. And that way you'd have a nice finished return all the way around the bottom of that. I do see that you added the skin and having standard construction. That's perfect. That's exactly how we need to do that to make it look like one big piece. But again, these 2 wall cabinets will not be cheaper once you add the labor and the 2x6s and stuff to build that into a base. Change those cabinets into some full height base cabinets that have a wide rail bottom leg, reduced depth to 12, and I think you're going to be better suited as far as the cost for those 2 pieces and the look of the finished product. Here, this is that 52-inch wall I was telling you about right here, 52 inches from here. And then also right here, 74 inches is this doorway that we're looking at, okay? That's it for this measure. I did say right here, toe kick or OGPM8, just as another note for that one. If you have any questions about this, please give me a call at 423-650-1051. Thanks very much. Have a good day.